So one of the things we gotta be mindful of, there are people out there that want to take your money. So you gotta kind of, understand what it is you want to do, what's your purpose, so you can, utilize your money in the best way. So, which brings me to the subject of grow lights. To use or not to use grow lights? That's the question. Well, it really depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to do an indoor grow operation in which you're going to be solely growing indoors? Or are you trying to bring them in out the cold for a brief moment of time, but you still want to produce vegetables or fruits? Or are you simply trying to get them started and then you're going to be transplanting? Depending on the answer to those questions will determine whether or not you want to use grow lights or not.
So since we're on the subject of grow lights, I want to go ahead and start talking about the different options that you have for grow lights. And first and foremost, you got your full spectrum grow lights. These are going to be your best option because they're going to provide you the entire natural sunlight's wavelength, including UV and infrared across the entire visible spectrum that plants need for their full growth and development throughout all stages of their life. So it'll provide the different wavelengths that they need throughout germination, the initial seedling growth, and all the way up to the flowering stage. You're going to have both the cool colors and the warm colors. You got reds and blues, and then so much more. And they're going to be expensive, but that's because they're going to be extremely efficient and optimized for plant growth. Because not only are you going to have all of the wavelengths that the sun has, they're going to have specifically only the wavelengths that the plants need. Because plants don't necessarily use all particular wavelengths. So what's going to happen is you're going to save money because you're not going to be using light or energy that the plant can't use. It's only going to be producing things that plants actually use. Then you have your regular grow lights, and they're going to focus on more specific wavelengths like red and blue. And then this is going to be, the ones that are most used for just really the beginning stages of growth and to support photosynthesis. They're going to be less expensive than full spectrum grow lights, and the downside is you're going to have to probably have like two different types of lights. So like my A-Hope indoor gardening system, it actually has its full spectrum, but they divide it up into two spectrums. So there's like a button for the vegetative stage, and then there's a button for the flowering stage. You'll notice that when you push the button for the vegetative stage, there's more red and blues in there. And then when you push the one for the flowering stage, there's more yellows and whites and some other colors. Just know if you do get a grow light, you're going to want to get something that's nice and bright, that's going to produce, at least maybe 1,000 lumens or so. You don't want to get anything that's kind of, lower than that, because then you're kind of defeating the purpose. The next option is going to be a desk or a clamp fixture. This is going to be, I like this because it's a flexible option, because you'll be able to put either a fluorescent bulb or a grow light bulb or even an LED spotlight bulb. If you don't have the funds to get an actual grow light bulb, what I like to do with these clamp fixtures is to put a spotlight in them. So something that's really bright, 5,000 K and at least 1,000 lumens. So if you don't have that, like I said, I like to use those really bright outdoor floodlights, if you will, because they're going to be really bright. Now, they're going to be limited on the number of wavelengths that they provide, spectrum of light they provide, but for starting seeds, it will get the job done. The next option I like using is shop lights. Now, shop lights come in all different sorts, shapes, sizes, long bars, work stand lights. And the same thing applies. If you're going to get a shop light, 5,000 K minimum and at least 1,000 lumens. And honestly, I like to go 6,000 K on my shop lights. Now the downside is they're not going to have any red to blues. They're going to be very limited. You can get like yellow or white, and that's about it. I try to get in the middle of the spectrum, trying to get the cool or warm, but kind of in the middle. They even make them in fluorescent. Now with these shop lights, I generally speaking just use them as seed starters to get them up to the initial growth. Just know that as they get taller and bigger, you're going to have to probably put them closer to the source again until you can get them outside into some real sunlight. Now the upside is they are going to be cheaper than actually purchasing grow lights, and you can find them on Facebook Marketplace all day long, for a fairly decent price. So right now my seed starting station, I just have simple shop lights set up with foil paper all around to kind of maximize the amount of light. Now the last option I want to talk about is just halogen lights or work lights. These honestly are really the worst option because they have very limited light spectrum, and the second thing about them is that they're extremely hot. I mean, they can get up to anywhere from 150 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. In fact, we used to use these to drop paints. Now, if you're in a cold environment, in a cold garage, or in a outdoor greenhouse that's not weatherized and it's still cold, it can be viable for sticking in there to providing a heat source. But the problem is, if you put the plant too close, so they could kill the plant. So you have to, put them further away, which then kind of offsets or negates the light that they produce. So in all honesty, these are really only best for using as heat sources, not for actual light sources. They're also going to be limited to maybe one spectrum or two spectrums, and the spectrums that they produce or the colors they produce might not even be able to be used by the plant. So they can be used, just make sure you put them at a safe distance, put them on a timer, because you can have fire hazards, and as well as keep in mind they're going to cause your electric bill to go up like crazy, because they're going to be burning so much heat. So definitely can be used. It's just something that I would not recommend using. But if that's all you have, then just keep those things in mind. With that being said, the only thing left is to get out and grow something.